Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able and remove your caps. And it is time for Pop Shit and Get Off the Pod. Host Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes, with the other host, the fabulous, the unforgettable Joseph Huggins, aka Old Man Huggie. Episode 96?
Yeah, 96.
Jesus told me no. On God, motherfuckers.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I was looking, I was like, damn, 96, okay. That's like real. We're actually at 96.
Yeah.
It's a lot of episodes.
We're
lot.
we're really like the podcast version of like the 96 Chicago Bulls, you know what I'm saying? Just domination.
Okay. I want to be like Ron Harper or somebody. I want to be one of the big guys. Because now, like...
I'm Phil Jackson.
I mean, you're bored of that. I mean, Phil Jackson, like, you know, he might be racist. No one's sure.
Well, yeah.
But you'd have a lot of championships.
What do you mean? What do you mean no one's sure?
Well, because, you know, some people would vouch for Phil Jackson. Some people don't.
About whether or not he's racist?
Well, I think it was he said something about LeBron rolling around with the posse, and everyone was like, "Oh, how could he say that?" I was like, "I don't. It kind of is. Like, I don't know."
Isn't that like a Western?
Yeah,
like,
it's something about posses were used to hunt down people. It was like made real dramatic. It was.
That is, I guess that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the term, it was like, "Oh, now we care," but before nobody gave a fuck. Insane Clown Posse. Like, come on.
Yeah, and also he's in the posse. He's not getting hunted down by the posse.
Yeah, he's like the leader of the posse.
Yeah, I flipped it on its head. Now,
yeah.
You guys have posses? We got posses.
I mean, I do. It was interesting because everyone was like, "Oh man, Phil Jackson's just so chill," and then now everyone's like, "Now he's racist." But for the longest time, they're like, "Oh, the Zen master," and then they're like,
"I don't know, dude. I don't know. That sounds like a stupid like."
He went to the Knicks and fucked that up. And that after he fucked the Knicks up, then people were like, "Oh, he's racist," or "Oh, he's this." I don't know if definitively if he is or not.
Like Knicks fans have anything to say about that? Come on, man.
It's true. I mean, it's like laughable, but that's the rumor. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, shout out Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
Knockout artist.
Dude, he's rowdy. He's a badass.
Yeah.
All about it.
All right, so before we get into therapy questions, just a little quick update on Ukraine. They blew up the bridge that connected Crimea to Russia, where they both like civilian use of this thing, but a lot of their supply lines go through there. And they built this bridge after they took Crimea in 2014, and it's like a big symbol of like their accomplishment. And they blew it up back in October, and they fixed it. And then Putin got in a car by himself and drove on the bridge to like prove to everybody it was all good. And then today, they blew that shit up from drones that came out of the sea. So from like the opposite end of where they blew it up the last time. And Putin's angry. So that's a little update.
Like submersible drones?
Well, they could have been like some Ukraine submarines, or maybe just like a boat, and then they launched them from there. But I heard it was like from the sea, so maybe it came from underwater. That'd be tight.
That would be tight as fuck.
Yeah, but they really did fuck it up, and so they can't use that whole part. But there is like a railroad that kind of is right by it, and that's fine, and that's still moving, but you know. This is like Putin's little like bitch present he gave to himself, like when they took Crimea. So it's both strategic and also symbolic.
And it got blown up twice.
Yeah, this time it was like on the base of it and like knocked out like an entire side of it.
Damn, fuck you, bridge. That shit's wild, man. Any updates on Prigozhin?
Prigozhin. Hold on a second. No, but He's still missing, but more and more Wagner troops are showing up in Belarus, and they are training. Uh, they are training. Oh, like Wagner groups are sorry. My mic is like flashing at me. Okay, sorry. Wagner is now training Belarusian troops in Belarus.
To fight Ukraine.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think maybe, I mean, this would be really shrewd, and I guess you don't become a dictator like Lukashenko, the dictator of Belarus, who everybody was just like, he's a fucking puppet of Russia. He's a client state. And he is like, he like fucked up his election not that long ago, and Russia sent in troops and like kept him in power. But he's been in power since like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And maybe this guy sees the writing on the wall, like Russia's going to go down. So now he's got nukes for himself in his country. Russia goes down, and he's got the Wagner group and his army, like, you know,
Yeah, but is that a deal you want to make? You want to be like teaming up with the Wagner group? I don't know, man.
better than Putin at this point.
Well, yeah, but you shouldn't be teaming up with any of them.
Well,
Because the Wagner group is
it's a
like,
hedge. It's a hedge.
yeah, but the Wagner group's like scary for a different set of reasons.
Well,
So if
this
you're
is what they do. This
cooperating
is
with them, I feel like it's cooperation by force.
100%. This is exactly their business model is, and they have like they do this in like 17, if not 27. I forget which number it is. Countries
Yeah.
in Africa, and what they do is they prop up the dictator, and then they take all of the resources. Like they have like gold just coming in, 500 mil a year from one country. I forget which one. So they just take all of like they just the mines they take control of, and they just keep the dictator fat and happy and not murdered, and they set up base. So that's why like Prigozhin's missing. Like he could just be chilling in anywhere in Africa, and you would have no idea.
And he's got hundreds of millions of dollars in gold.
But also, we saw an update. I don't think we've said this on the pod yet. We found out that Prigozhin was actually in St. Petersburg and Moscow 3 days after the attempted coup that I predicted, and he was there for 3 hours in a meeting with Putin. Dude, you just attempted a coup on Putin, and then 3 days later you're gonna go into a meeting with him, and he's not gonna do shit. Like that is crazy.
Yeah, but I could see him walking in. He's not walking in by himself. He's got like two of his dudes with him,
Right, but
and,
still,
and they're just like yoked out of their minds. And he's just sitting there like, please, what would you like to discuss with me, Mr. Putin? Please, I will crush you. And he's like, yeah, and he's like post having a stroke or whatever. Because they say that he looks like he's just all delirious and out of it.
who? Who?
Putin.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the vodka.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm telling you, like there's reports how they like had a limit of how much you could drink per day if you were a general in the army, and they doubled the limit since the war started so that people can drown their sorrows in booze. And like generals have been showing up to meetings drunk and shit, like in the morning, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Putin's up there just like
Because they're getting their
I
asses
ice.
kicked.
I mean, he's isolating. That's a sign of a drinking problem. He's like he's paranoid. He's got delusional thoughts. He's angry. This guy is he might just need some treatment or
Yeah, he needs to meditate. He needs to
bitches.
pick up like a hobby, something outdoors.
He's got to get mindful.
Yeah,
He's future tripping too much.
yeah, touch grass as the kids would say.
Hey,
But yeah, I mean that shit's getting out of hand. I mean, so who fills that power vacuum if let's say Russia goes down, Putin's out?
it's gonna be somebody that we don't like at all. I mean, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a power struggle for sure. It's not definitely not like decided yet, and it just also depends on how Putin goes away. Like that's. I mean, who's the one who took him out? If he gets taken out, takes himself out, where is he gonna go? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the United States wants Putin to leave, except for I mean, he put himself in this position where he's backed into a corner.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't sound great, but it's like you want to give him like options to get out of this alive. Because if you don't, then all bets are off the table.
Well, and that's one of the big issues that I would say a lot of people have with long, like big picture American like diplomacy and like and how we've like overthrown democratically elected officials and then installed our own people there who end up being dictators, or we kill dictators and end up obviously then it's like a power vacuum, and who
Yeah,
fills those
with
spots?
nukes, with nukes, with the
Yeah,
most nukes on the world.
yeah, like who fills those spots? I mean, you could terrible person, not the best, but like there's a lot there's a lot to be said about what stability that there was in the Middle East before we started killing off Middle East dictators. Granted, they were dictators, not great people, whatever. But Iraq, I think you have the rise of a lot of these other groups or extremist religious groups in the Middle East that rise after you see
Right.
people
I mean,
that like we've gone in and like we've destabilized places ourselves.
it's impossible to predict what's going to happen once you take out the head of state.
Yeah, like look like
It's
yeah, like
yeah.
Gaddafi.
We had to take him out because he was going to commit genocide. We knew it, but
No, I know, but now you see what's filled in, and there's been no stability
we're
filling
talking
of that
we're
spot.
we're talking about Libya for
Well, just
those.
Libya and like in Africa in general. Now it's like
Well, Libya was bad because we put in the no-fly zone. We bombed them under Barack Obama, but he was like adamant he didn't want any troops on the ground,
yeah,
like Iraq and Afghanistan. So instead, we just left this like it's a failed state now. It's like it's just factions like control like different parts of Libya. There is no like functional government whatsoever. So it is a fucking mess. And if you ask Barack Obama, he'd probably say that's the one thing he regrets the most out of his presidency. And I would say, like, if you ever want to talk shit about Obama's presidency, just talk shit about Yemen and Libya and Syria.
yeah, just
Those are, yeah.
indiscriminately bombing people.
Well, not
It's not.
indiscriminately.
Well,
Like,
no, but I mean,
but with Yemen, like he even said, this is like cringe. He goes, the drone policy kind of works. He's like, look at Yemen, for example. Like that's been very successful, and it's like literally the biggest like human catastrophe on Earth right now, besides what's going on in Ukraine. Like before that,
yeah, I mean, Yemen's been
a shit show.
for a long time.
It's a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and we were giving all the weapons to Saudi Arabia, so we were just like almost directly keeping the war going.
Oh yeah, I mean, and there's something to be said about if you're in a movie and it's always like, all right, we got to go into this hotbed and pick up this guy in Yemen, and like it's crazy. It's just I feel like overrun with like mercenaries and
Yeah,
CIA,
because
like CIA ops and all sorts of shit. Like
yeah, like the location of it is like very like strategic. It's like right in between Africa and the Middle East. It's like on the Gulf, and it's like lawless.
yeah,
So that's like it's a place to operate for sure. Like
madness.
Lebanon used to be that. I'm sure it still is. Lebanon was like that a lot. Like Spy Game. They were in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, okay. So as we do, we start with therapy questions. Now, I might start. This might be ChatGPT's last appearance here for a while on the podcast because these questions are just starting to like. So I'm gonna have to like come up with like a better solution so we can improve these questions. So not that
Yeah.
they're bad, but like it's just I want like variety of style, and I just can't get it from ChatGPT. Plus, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, never paid you boys. He never paid us.
It's true. We were plugging them like
Fuck out of here.
the whole time. That's actually fucked up.
Yeah, you broke ass. All right. Therapy question number one.
AID's nuts.
Woo! Would you rather fight off the Fresh Prince of Bel Air or try to outdance him?
Fight off. I'd rather try to fight the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Big Willie?
Yeah, I mean the whole show.
Jim West? Jim West?
But this is the Fresh Prince. The whole
Okay,
entire
you're right,
time
you're
on
right,
the
you're
show,
right.
like the character Fresh Prince, like he gets punked a lot. People will be like, "Hey," and every once in a while he'll raise his voice. Like I think Carlton was more of a fighter than he was. The whole beginning, he gets picked up by some guy on the basketball court, and spun around in a fireman's carry like it's Macho Man Randy Savage. So I would rather fight him
Ooh.
because a dance battle. I mean, he's got dance moves like
Yeah, but
jump,
So does Carlton. Are you saying that Carlton could win both of these?
maybe. Like
Wow, hot
like
take. Hot take.
Carlton's got like the character Carlton's got a lot of rage.
But he's like 5'5".
Yeah, but he's pretty yoked, man. Carlton's not like like oh look at that chubby dude. I mean he's pretty thick, boy. Underneath that sweater, I feel like he's kind of cut. Like I think he'd hurt someone, and he's like would lose control. That he'd be one of those guys where it's like, oh, dude,
Like,
if he snaps,
like
like get the fuck out of the way, dude. He will hit you if you owe him
the guy's
five.
knocked out and he's still going.
Yeah, like some one of those guys where it's like, man, if you owe that guy $15 and he's fighting somebody else, like just get the fuck out of the room because he's looking for you. He'll see you and he's just like rage. I think he's one of those guys.
And then he's
For
like,
sure.
wouldn't it be nice to love somebody? But isn't that the one where you do the Carlton?
Yeah. See, now if I had to fight someone, if I had to dance battle over fight, I would Uncle Phil. You got to dance battle with Uncle Phil for sure, because he'd beat my ass. Uncle Phil's a big
Well,
dude.
you just miss it. Like Jeffrey,
I feel like Jeffrey can scrap.
scrap and dance.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. Jeffrey's
Come on.
definitely got moves. Like
DJ Jazzy Jack.
I feel like he's like real quick too. Would be like a lot of head movement. It would be
Yeah.
He'd make you miss his defense, be
Yeah.
and then he'd just stick you a couple times. He'd be like, whoa.
So who would win in a fight? The original mom, or was it Vivian,
The original mom for sure.
or the second mom? Because they just replaced the
Yeah,
mom
they just replaced
and
her.
didn't say anything.
No,
Halfway.
it'd be the original mom for sure.
Yeah, she was a little more thuggish, ruggish.
Yeah, she was a real one. She was a real one.
The new one was like a red bone
Mm-hmm.
or a yellow bone. See, I'm hip, dude.
I'd say.
I put that on my Jesus, homie.
You're so
Bet.
stupid. You're an idiot.
All right.
Wait,
Yeah,
what about
question
you?
number-
Which one? What about you?
Oh, I don't want to fight Will Smith. He's like way big.
But Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Will Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt down. I don't know. Okay, I'll fight him.
Because
Just-
he's gonna
and
he's
you know
gonna
what?
smoke you in a dance battle. He might be
That's
a
true.
bad fighter. Like you have a better chance of winning if you fight him. Because dance battle, he's gonna put it on you, dude. Men
Yeah,
in
I
Black,
agree. Yeah.
Men in Black dances. I mean, he had all those. Those are just like
Not yet. He didn't have those.
I know, but he was thinking about that for years and was like, "Hold on, guys, I got this move I've been working on in my room for like 20 years,"
yeah.
and then busted out the little slide, and people were like, "Whoa, fuck!" Like we got to make a whole movie around that, and that's how they came up with Men in Black. Was they saw him do that slide move, and they were like, "We got to make a movie like based around that, and we'll make it about aliens, and you're gonna be in it." And he's like, "All right, bet, on God, that's what happened."
Well, yeah. No, I'm gonna fight fucking Will Smith. You're right. Or the Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
But his name was Will Smith in the fucking thing, so I could say that.
well, then it was just Will.
Oh.
They're like, "Hey, Will." They didn't say Will Smith.
What? Not even on the credits.
No, I think it just said Will, and then it just said Will Smith.
I don't know. Somebody Google that. All right. Therapy question number 2. If you could have a slumber party with the Spice Girls,
Dude,
what
this
game would you?
so fucking stupid, but okay.
This is ChatGPT.
I know
What-
ChatGPT
because
is
it's so stupid. I had to put it on.
slacking. I read
Yeah.
this and was like, "What the fuck?"
If you could have a slumber party with the Spice Girls, what game would you suggest playing to spice up the night?
Dude, that's so stupid.
Talk shit after hours.
I bust out like some wild '90s game like Crossfire or something weird.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
the one
like
with the
that
little
game.
gun, yeah, with
Yeah,
the little
yeah, yeah.
spinnies. That thing was tight as
How's that
fuck.
that's spicing it up?
Although honestly, when you're a kid and you watch the commercial, and then you get to play it in real life, while
Not
it
as
is
cool.
fun, it's not as cool. It's like a flaming arena. There's dudes on discs that are spinning in the sky that are surrounded by fire, and they're like throwing balls at each other. You're like, whoa, that looks cool as fuck. It's like a hockey rink, and then you get it, and it's like a lot smaller than you realize.
So
don't
you
get as
you, you wanted
many.
it to be more flaming and have balls thrown at your face. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I'm just saying that from commercial of the board game to playing the board game, disappointing.
It wasn't as fabulous.
Or as dangerous in that commercial. And then that kid loses and he gets like launched into space. I was like, holy shit, what happened to that kid? And like, right? Like, come on, man. It's the same with like creepy crawlers.
Well, which Spice Girl is getting launched into space when you're playing this to spice up the night with
Spice
Baby
Girl.
Spice, Ginger Spice.
It'd be like the whoever's the most annoying, but it couldn't be Ginger Spice. Cause didn't she Ginger Spice? Didn't she pass away? R.I.P. I think that's R.I.P. Shout out. No,
No.
I
Get the
don't
fuck outta
know. I'm
here.
gonna look it up right now. I think she did, man.
How dare you disrespect the Spice Girls on this podcast?
You know, she okay.
Dude, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. I mean, those them the Spice Girls.
Oh, okay, I guess she's my bad.
I mean, you
guess.
kind of look like Scary Spice right now.
That's true. She's 50. My bad. I wasn't sure.
Jeez.
You
Apologize.
never. I
Barry
apologize.
Holloway. Oh, I think that's her name.
Yeah. Then you couldn't launch Scary Spice. That'd be bad PR, man.
Okay. Oh, because it's the only black person?
Well, no, because everyone likes her for the most part.
Yeah, she's.
She's like big on American TV. So if you like toss her off, kick her off the island, guess you could get rid of Baby Spice.
What? No, that's my girl. That's my girl. Come on.
But what is she doing now? Like I'm saying, if you're gonna dump a Spice Girl, that's a big move. That's difficult.
Get Posh out of here, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, she doesn't really do much. You'd lose a big chunk of your UK audience.
Well, sorry, UK. Even though they're one of our biggest audience,
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. Sorry.
But we have the rest of the Spice Girls all from the UK. Come on now.
True. All right, Victoria Beckham's out.
Bye, bitch. Therapy question number 3. What if, instead of The Lion King, Disney made The Llama Queen? Would the song still be that catchy?
What is this,
Okay,
dude?
okay, so I said...
What is going
I
on with ChatGPT?
I said list 30 questions. I said list 30 funny questions with the theme or with the 1990s theme in the voice of Steve Urkel, and this is what we're getting. That's how I prepped it. Except for the fourth one was different.
Dude, and to talk about another good, strong black dad, Carl Winslow, dude. Carl Winslow made me trust cops for a bit. I was like, they're not that bad. He's got Urkel across the street. He's a hardworking man.
I remember, like, at my sister's softball practice, one of the coaches was telling me that because he was a cop, and
Yeah.
he was saying that Carl Winslow was yelling at him earlier in the day, like in real life. That's an early memory.
That's probably
That's an old chestnut.
Yeah,
But okay,
probably
so-
meant that in a racist way.
Probably. The Llama Queen, though. Do you think it hits as hard as The Lion King?
I don't think so. Oh, I just
Definitely
can't
not.
wait to be queen, and it's like about a llama. I think they did that with. Well, I think it's an alpaca, but that's the Emperor's New Groove or whatever
Right,
with
right,
David
right.
Spade. I don't think the llama queen. That sounds dumb.
Because the whole thing is supposed to be Hamlet, right?
Yeah.
Shakespeare's Hamlet is Lion King. So, I don't know if a Llama Queen wins. Sorry.
I mean, it could.
ChatGPT, I don't know who like
Yeah,
we're
dude.
apologizing to.
ChatGPT needs to get their ass beat. What are the? I thought it's supposed to get smarter with time.
No, I told you what's gonna happen, and like it's getting dumber and dumber. Like because it's just feeding on itself. It's feeding on every time I ask it a question. It's just like, oh well, then let me just ask that same question because it's most likely to come up because I put it up, and it's like Llama Queen.
That's its whole mission is to redo the Lion King as Llama Queen
Oh god.
and indoctrinate our kids into thinking that llamas are queens,
Better than lines.
and everybody knows a lion's better than a goddamn llama. I'm tired
This
of
question will be banned in Florida once it airs. Like they'll have to bleep it out. Like DeSantis won't let it happen.
Yeah, he's like,
You see
absolutely not.
DeSantis is firing staff members because he's running out of money.
Well, that's what they're saying. The whole Republican Party as a whole is running out of money because they've been fighting all these court cases and all these lawsuits and all these election denial things, and people are getting sued and they're defending them, and they're running.
They were
out of money.
paying for Trump's legal fees for a long time, and now they're not. But
Yeah, they decided to back out, but I think they showed that Biden got like 72 million in donations, and
You know, that's light work. That's light work.
then like the next like Trump was at like 17 or something like that.
Biden has spent a total of $2 million on his campaigns so far. They're like, yeah, we're busy getting shit done. Like we don't, they don't have to fight it out in a fucking primary like this, at least not yet. So they're just like in December is when they're really gonna start ramping up and going into the next year. But right now they're just like chilling.
Well, they're letting people like Marjorie Taylor Greene do like rap videos and all sorts of goofy shit. Did you see that stuff?
No, but I heard that she got kicked out of the Freedom Caucus.
She got kicked out of the Freedom Caucus. She just did a rap video.
Hip hop, real hip
Uh,
hop.
Forgiato Blow, that guy who's got Suburban Legend tattooed on his lip and the big like
No idea.
dude.
No
Oh
idea.
my god, bro, you would hate this guy. He always wears like he's like a Trump rapper. He's a MAGA rapper. He's absurd. He's like a caricature of a person. And he wrote a rap song about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's in the music video like sitting in this golden throne and sitting on this like Bentley car. It's absolutely absurd, and it's the
What
dumb.
is she wearing?
She's wearing like whatever she would wear to like Cap Hill, so she's just like dressed normal. It's not like
Oh,
she's like
we're calling it Cap Hill now.
it's not like she's like shaking ass or anything like that. It's pretty
Well,
cringe worthy.
has the divorce gone through? I used to
No,
ask this
there's a
question to all
line.
my
There's a
friends, like,
line about the divorce where he's like, "Oh,
what?
she's yes, I'm not kidding you. Like, oh, she's getting divorced. That's all y'all got." Like, it's absolutely absurd. It's like you got to look this shit up, man. Marjorie Taylor Greene rap. It's like really bad, and the music video is mega
Are you
cringe.
sure it's not like a deep fake?
No, it's real,
What is she
bro. She
doing?
tweeted it. He tweeted it, and she tweeted it. I saw
God
it,
damn,
dude. It's absurd. It's
dude.
fucking
We're in a simulation for sure.
Oh, we're past the point. Like we're past that. Like if you don't think we're living in a simulation at this point, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, if you're a grown ass man and you don't think that.
They're like the world's lost, man.
Okay, final therapy question. This one was not from Steve Urkel, but still from ChatGPT. I think it was early 2000s, pop culture, and the voice of I forget who.
What do
If you
you
could
always
have,
do like in the voice of?
because I just trying to get, because I'm trying to get more and more specific, so it'd be actually like different questions. If you just ask it for like questions, it just literally says the same shit. It's like, if you could be a superhero, what superpower would you? It's like every time.
Really?
Yeah, it like in like very like subtle like variations, but the same fucking question is on every list. If you could bring like two celebrities to dinner, yeah, like basic shit that we like did on our own, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I put this one in here because I think you would appreciate it. If you could have a comedy duo with any two celebrities, I'm gonna say comedians, living or dead, who would you choose, and what would your hilarious sketches be about?
I mean, I don't know about the sketches be about. That's good.
Yeah, I was gonna erase that part, and it says if you could have a comedy duo with two people, are you in this? Because that's a trio. Just pick two people that you would like to see team up.
Ooh. Two people I'd like to see team up. Probably George Carlin and like Richard Pryor would have been really
I knew
good.
you were gonna say that.
That would be good. Just because of the conversational aspect of how they do everything, that'd be really funny. Um, dude, I got these fucking neighbors, bro. Sorry to get sidetracked. Their little dog is just going nuts outside right now, and it is all. They're always just letting this dog like roam free and harass all these kick-ass cats that live in the complex, and they're doing it right now. I, I hate these people. Sorry, man. They're just like the worst. But yeah, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. No, I just want to like. I hate these guys. I don't know how to describe. They really piss me off, and they're always like smoking weed, but whatever. But it's like blowing all over the place at like 4 a.m, and they're like playing loud ass music. You're just like, dude, like, what are you doing? How are you allowed to do this? That's when I'm like, fuck, I'm getting old. But then I realize they're older than me, and I'm like, you should be mad at me for doing that, not me mad at you. It should be flipped.
Yeah, you should get like one of those broadcast like live red lights that they use in the studio.
Yeah.
Put it outside your window, and when it's on, they have to be quiet. I'll pick Sarah Silverman, and Amy Schumer.
You're kidding, right?
Nah, boom.
Sarah Silverman, but I guess there's other people I'd rather see her team up with than Amy Schumer.
Okay, then Sarah Silverman, Jeff Ross, because I think like the back and forth would be great.
I feel like they've already done that though.
Jeff Ross has done it with Dave Attell, and Dave Attell is Sarah Silverman's favorite comedian of all time. She named her kid after him. But I've never seen Jeff Ross and Sarah Silverman on tour together as a duo. That's not happened, but it did happen with Dave Attell.
Okay.
Called it Bumping Mics. Check it out. Okay, well, those are therapy questions, and also an insight to Joseph in his studio location, surrounded by cats and one barking dog.
Well, there's these kick-ass neighborhood cats that are chill that just like come out of nowhere and they're tight. But there's this little corgi, and it's not the corgi's fault,
Yeah, it is.
but the corgi kind of sucks.
Another
'Cause
shot at UK. Another shot at the
no,
UK.
it's just the owner sucks, and therefore like his dog kind of sucks because it's like
That's usually how it goes.
yeah. So I'm like, fuck you and your dog, you know.
Yeah,
Let it run around yapping and attacking the cool cats that just want to hang out, man. Leave the cats alone.
that's right.
And it's leash. You gotta have a leash, dog. You ain't got no
Gang,
leash.
gang, gang,
Ain't
gang.
got no leash. Don't make me call the HOA, bro.
Ooh.
Don't make me do it. I will get the paper.
Ooh.
I will get pictures, dog.
Ooh. He'd be out here acting like a bozo,
Like
just going crazy.
Harriet the Spy, dog. I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a 14-year-old white girl with astigmatism. I'm coming for you, dog. Call me Harriet
Man,
the Spy.
she can only see in her left eye.
Is that true?
Well, she has astigmatism, so
Yeah, true.
that means that she has bumps on her lens. Anyways, we're done. We're done with therapy questions, y'all. Now we are on to the current events, the topics. Joseph had put these in here.
First one from
Yeah.
the A. Oh, what's up?
I was just gonna say we're recording on July 17th, Monday.
Yes. Heat wave in southern Europe generates health warnings for residents and tourists. And it's not just there, it's fucking everywhere. Earth's getting hot as shit, bro. It's crazy. Italian health officials intensified heat warnings Monday as southern Europe has begun to a brutally hot week with temperatures expected to top 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit on a continent sizzling under the sun and overburdened by tourists. Never in my life have I experienced heat like this before in Pristina. Actually, it's probably him. Arten Klanai, 22-year-old student in Kosovo's capital. It said it reached 94. Come on, bro. We out here in Texas. In Texas, it's getting hot as shit, dude. It's like 106,
Yep.
107. It's like
And
100.
there's no end in sight out here.
There's this woman in Houston who made bread, fresh bread dough, put it in a pan, and baked it in her mailbox in 45 minutes. She cooked a whole loaf of fucking bread.
And that's your brain on drugs.
That's wild.
That is funny. Was it good?
It looked great. The rise on it was fantastic. It looked like some really good fucking bread. But,
Was it like Texas toast?
yeah, it looked like Texas toast. And it was like some old, like, powdered blue hand woman. So it's like, dude, that's some good fucking bread dough. Like, you know that's the real deal.
Well, that's also illegal to be fucking with your mailbox like that. That's a federal offense. So
Well, what are you going to do, arrest her?
deal with it. I'm gonna Karen a Karen.
You get canceled for that. She went viral. So, I mean, you can't really cancel her.
Shut
But
it down.
what's it like out there? Has it been getting hotter and hotter for y'all?
Yeah, it's like 80s, 90s out here. But then like I was closer to the coast, and there was like a 50% chance of lightning, which is weird today. But I didn't see any. But yeah, it's heating up for sure. It's been really like kind of cold. Leading up to this, like June was like not shit, but now it's starting to, yeah. I mean, all of California like is getting really hot, but where I'm at, it's not like unbearable yet.
The government has said that having volunteers fan out throughout the city would help hasten the arrival of medical help for those who be suffering from the ill effects from the heat. So it's like if someone passes out, just run away from them and give us some room so we can get to them quick. What?
Yeah.
The bubble of hot air that has inflated over southern Europe has turned Italy and the surrounding countries into a giant pizza oven.
Yeah, we had like what, like 5 days in a row that we broke the record for the hottest day on Earth. Like, the, I still don't understand why we can't use climate change denial against Republicans. Like, remember when this person was telling us this is all bullshit, and now you've got the hottest days that you've ever experienced? Like, we could have done this shit like 30 years ago. But
So everything's gonna melt, and then aliens are gonna like come to the surface. The hot air, which pushed in from Africa, is staying put, with the high settled pressure conditions, meaning that the in heat in warm sea, land, and air continues to build. Blame it on Africa. Racist as hell, dude. I told you.
well, it's also El Nino's happening.
What's the
So
cycle? It's like every couple of years there's a Nino.
yeah, but then the cycle got fucked up,
And then
and then
there's like
there's
Pinta
a lot
and
there's a lot in Nino.
Santa Maria and all that shit.
Yeah.
102 in Rome by 3 p.m. on Monday. That sounds shitty. And like having some big ass indoor AC isn't something that's like norm in Europe, right? So, I mean,
I have no idea. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like they just don't. When I imagine Europe, I imagine like no AC. It's like, oh, we're drinking wine and it's like 11 a.m.
Well, guess what? We've been telling you that the globe is getting hotter for fucking 25 years at least. Uh, Maybe invest some air conditioning.
True.
Get off your ass
I bet you all the
and
good ones are
get to Amazon.
made in America.
Hell yeah.
You guys, we don't make air conditionings with those little fancy plugs. We got American plugs over here, buddy.
Well, it's funny. Well, not funny. What's terrible is though that the air conditioning leads more to gas going in the air. But they did regulate it. There used to be like those hydrochlorides or something like that were like way worse than CO2 coming out of air conditionings, and they banned them.
Oh yeah, dude, they used to have all sorts of wild shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like, boomers ruined this world. Um, yeah, I mean, do you think? I mean, how many? Are we just gonna continue to break records for
Yeah, I
hot
think
days
so.
for infinity now? Are we
Yeah.
just like on that? It's just gonna continue? Are we gonna boil off the planet? It's like some Mad Max shit.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking the solution is? Because I heard that we just found a planet that has clouds that are metal and reflect. So I think we should invent some reflecting ass clouds. Reverse this shit
Wait,
real quick.
clouds that are metal?
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
It's like the particles are metal products as opposed to whatever the fuck's in our cloud, water, you know.
What is that?
O3 or whatever.
What is that? What is the terrain like? That atmosphere's got to be insane to harbor metal clouds.
What if it's awesome? It's like protecting it.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd have to be so hot to like make it precipitate metal. That'd be hot metal.
Yeah.
It's not like it'd be like,
Just don't touch it.
dude, that sounds wild. What is it? They're saying there's traces of some sort of gas that is only expelled by living creatures that we know of that's present in the atmosphere on Venus. Did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah. What type
Well,
of
here we are.
wild shit would be living on Venus? Maybe that's it. Maybe they're slowly prepping this planet to take it over and move from Venus to Earth.
No, I think they already did move from Venus to Earth when it was getting too fucking hot there. Like nothing can, like, it's so ridiculous. Like that's what the Earth might look like if we just keep turning up the fucking. Well, no, is Venus gaseous or no? No,
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
it's got like volcanoes and shit. Like
Right, but it still has a core and shit. Like, or
yeah.
like I mean, I guess all planets do. I'm just saying it's still.
No, it has like a mantle.
It's not like Jupiter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like a gaseous planet.
Right.
And there's still like things inside of Jupiter. It's not like it's all gas. So they think it's like shit trapped in its
All gas,
gravitational.
no brakes for Jupiter, bro. But I mean, no, the moons in Jupiter are what's interesting
True. Big facts.
because they have water and they're like big moons.
Well, they have like frozen ice, or they
Right,
have
that's water.
or it's like Europa, where it's got a layer of ice, but there's like liquid water underneath the ice, from what our tests tell us.
Yeah, life.
Yeah, I mean, there were the chance. That's why it's like mathematically impossible for there to not be life.
But it's crazy. It'd be crazy if we found it in our own solar system.
Well, I mean, it would be anything. It would be like a plant, anything. If it was,
Right.
yeah, anything that exists off this planet that's like alive. It doesn't have to be some animal or creature.
Right. Well, we're saying like just the numbers of the universe. It's like mathematically impossible for there not to be. But I'm saying the numbers in our solar system a lot different. So
Well, and just if it's based off of life that we know and what we qualify is suitable for us to live, or mammals, creatures like us, or whatever, there it would still be mathematically impossible for there to not be some sort of life that exists on those planets.
right.
Like if you could see like a green planet with blue water from afar, it's like, man, if we landed a probe there, I wonder if we'd find like a tree. Because if you did, then there you go. I watched
Yeah.
Don't Look Up the other day. That movie I was on Netflix, Leonardo DiCaprio, about the comet hitting Earth.
Yeah. I saw it.
It was all right. It wasn't that
Yeah, it
bad.
was good.
But I liked at the end when they finally get to the other place, and it's just like, yeah, it'd be something like that. We'd all die pretty quick, wandering around like naked on some random ass planet.
True. Not Bear Grylls though.
True. No, he would find a way, and that's not a bad person to start civilization on another planet.
Not bad at all.
He'd need like a companion.
Oh yeah, he'd need a harem of women to impregnate.
Jesus, I guess.
He would. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, but then they'd all be like kind of related to each other,
True.
so that'd be weird.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Well, maybe just bring some semen like from a bunch of people with you.
Like different ones, and then it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Inseminate these people.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, I mean, these are the sacrifices you have to make if you want to spread to another planet as a species. I mean, come on, man. We're like, this is the frontier. Like, we don't know if anybody's ever done this.
Do you think we're past the point of no return with our climate? How scary does this shit get?
It gets really scary, I think, but I don't know. Because to me, it's like, isn't it self-correcting? If like if a bunch of humans die, then there's gonna be a lot less carbon.
Yeah, but I mean that self correction would be like on a scale, like a global scale on Mother Nature's side. So that would be like a big self correction. That would be terrifying. And
Maybe.
so that would be like a 10 or 15-year period of something. It wouldn't be like, oh, a bunch of people died. It'd
You're
be
right, but I
like,
still think that. Yeah, I think I could see a bunch of people still being alive, and then it like because there's gonna be winners and losers, bro. It's not like the whole planet just gets destroyed at the same time. There's gonna be like places that suck that now are like that become like completely habitable.
I guess.
I'm looking at you, Mojave Desert. I'm just kidding. It was like the hottest it's ever been there.
Oh, yeah.
This week, they had tourists going out to Death Valley to experience the heat, and it's like, what are you doing?
There is an airport. Where was it? Somewhere in the Middle East at their airport. It was like 141 degrees or something insane. Like
Yeah,
something like unimaginable.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Like that's miserable.
But I mean, I could also see because I'm an optimist.
Elwood chiming in the chat, dude.
I'll tell him to shut up.
Hey, Elwood, it's your favorite.
Oh my god, can't get rid of that guy.
And whenever we bring back Angry Back Quarterback, Elwood will be back on the show because we're gonna
Can't wait. Next article.
You want to say it like Bart Scott? Can't wait.
Can't wait.
that Mississippi, under judge's order, starts allowing religious exemptions for childhood vaccinations. If you live in Texas, this already exists. This shit is so goofy to me.
So
Because
explain it to the audience.
people like in the state of Texas and now in Mississippi, though Mississippi is starting a court-ordered process of letting parents cite religious beliefs to seek exemptions for state-mandated vaccines for children that they must receive before attending their first day of school. So the shots that kids get whenever they're kids before they go to public school, so you don't have like smallpox and all sorts of wild shit,
Measles,
polio,
polio.
running around these schools. There, people are using a religious exemption. You've been able to do this in Texas for a while. I know people who have actually done it. Everybody's different. I think it's absurd because it has nothing to do with their religious belief. You're fucking lying. These people are always lying. That's just like a cop out to say like, well, my religion doesn't allow me to believe in vaccines. Some of these vaccines are why, or actually these vaccines are why a lot of these diseases, viruses, things that are completely life-altering and changing in some cases don't exist anymore. And in states like Oregon, Washington, Colorado. When I was living in Colorado, they had the highest percentage of unvaccinated kids going to public school based off religious exemptions. And then,
And that's like the crazy left,
oh, crazy
'cause
left or right
this is like,
doesn't matter.
yeah, but this is like pre-pandemic. This was happening where there was like the anti-vaxxers, like Jenny McCarthy. So like out here in like LA, it's like the yoga crowd kind of
Yeah.
got into that. And then you could actually see the results, like measles and shit popping up.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
it's been eradicated.
yeah, like all these places in Colorado, these schools are having like outbreaks of measles and like smallpox,
Ridiculous.
all sorts of wild shit. We were like, what? Like that's a thing, and it's because they have a bunch of kids that are unvaccinated going to the schools. And I'm now look, those are things. That's what's also really weird to me is back in the day, if you tried to claim a religious exemption to not get your kid vaccinated,
They tell you shut the fuck up.
people would have looked at you like you're fucking crazy. They'd be like, they'd slap the shit out
I
of
know, but like I told my mom this, like, because she was not into the COVID vaccine, and like I was like, think about how many vaccines you got when you were a kid. Like you just didn't even question.
you.
It's like
That are
now,
way worse. That are like
or
left
not. I don't know
scars
about
the size of silver dollars, like old school polio
yeah, the
vaccine.
polio vaccine. Yeah. But my point is like that never questioned it, and it's just now because like Facebook exists, like, and you heard some stupid article, now it's like all of a sudden up in the air.
Yeah, Mississippi is one of the poorest states and has the highest rates of health problems such as obesity and heart disease, but has received praise from public health officials for years because it has some of the highest rates of childhood vaccination against diseases such as polio, measles, and mumps. These people don't want to get their kids vaccinated for mumps, bro. That is absurd. His ruling came in a lawsuit.
You got the
filed
Mississippi
last year.
mumps. The Mississippi
Yeah, you got
mumps.
the Mississippi mumps, boy.
You'd be like our jam band.
He ain't ever been the same. Yeah, that's a jam band name. Coming up next, Mississippi Mumps. Hey, what's up, you guys? Feeling
My parents did get me vaccinated when I was a kid.
Feeling pretty mumpy.
Mumpy and Sons.
Yeah, Mumpy and Sons around.
Mumford and Sons.
Mumps, I've got the mumps.
My mumps.
My mom didn't vaccinate me. Oh.
And now I'm mumpy.
His ruling was came in a file last year by several parents who said their religious beliefs have led them to keep their children unvaccinated and out of Mississippi schools. The lawsuit funded by the Texas-based Informant Consent Action Network. Jesus Christ. Argued that Mississippi's lack of religious exemption for childhood vaccinations violates the Constitution. This is so absurd.
Yeah, because, it's like, the thing is, your rights, and when you're violating somebody else's rights, and everybody has a right to not get the measles or polio, because we've got the cure, or the
If you want to
vaccine.
tell me, like, I don't want to take the COVID vaccine because Donald Trump came up with it in a short period of time.
Yeah, we didn't force anybody to.
On just on that statement on face value, I'm like,
Legit.
but measles, mumps, polio, stuff like this that we've been like the reason why our human population has grown to the size that it has is because of vaccines like this.
Right.
That to say I'm not going to take them because Jesus says I can't is like the stupidest shit ever. Because that homeboy didn't say that. Jesus didn't say you shouldn't get
So
vaccinated.
these people are saying these are the same people saying that abortion should be illegal. So you should be forced to have a child, and then be allowed to not vaccinate them, so they can just run amok around the country giving people measles and polio. Like, I mean, it is so dumb,
And it's
so
like,
dumb.
what happens if your kid wants to get vaccinated when they're older? Do you shun them?
And do you need consent from the parents, or is this like another
Oh,
thing?
that's
Like,
definitely
hit,
a parents' rights. Come on, man, parents' rights.
God damn.
That's like issue number one with those people is parents' rights.
Government can't be telling me to get vaccines, but the government can tell me to have a child. Sick.
They can't tell me what to do with it afterwards. That's scary.
Yeah, you care about kids until they're
Well,
born.
the states without religious or personal belief exemptions for school immunizations requirements have been California, Connecticut, Maine, Mississippi, New York, West Virginia. Mississippi had it, but it was overturned in '79 by a state judge who rules vaccinated children have a constitutional right from being from to be free from associating with their unvaccinated peers. That sounds fair. If the parents don't want their kids going to school with a kid that's unvaccinated, that seems fair.
Right. Like, remember when we went to college, we had to get fucking vaccinated?
It's weird to me too. All these parents complained because of COVID. They were like, my kids were isolated too much, and now they're weird. But then all they're doing is stuff to isolate their kids more.
Right.
It's weird.
That's the whole thing is like paradox, hypocritical, ridiculous, logic doesn't exist anymore bullshit, dude. It's just, people are out their fucking minds and whatever. I just, it's just whatever, dude.
Religious
Let's
exemptions.
just move
No,
on these
I mean,
assholes before
yeah,
we
no,
get flagged for saying like vaccine too many times.
yeah. It's just the using a religious belief as an exemption for something like that is so cornball and so ridiculous that
Well, that was the
to
shit that
call
we
it that
wanted
that
to
is be
do
like
for.
that'd be like that's my preference for my child, but to have to use the term religious exemption is what
Right.
like
That's how
makes it
like we
extra
wanted
corny.
to get weed legal, like back when weed wasn't legal. It's like let's just create religion so that it was legal so then you could get by with it. Like that is like
We did that.
yeah,
The
that's
original model was like
using
smoke.
the law,
Well, it's like
abusing it if you want.
yeah, that's like that's a Scientology route.
Well, also Christian scientists also that's like their core belief is like not to take medicine and stuff.
Okay.
Let's move on. Final topic of the night, y'all.
Well, and you're kind of out in the hotbed of it, writer's strike. I wanted to talk about this and get your thoughts on it. And the use of AI, use of likenesses, and AI use of likenesses.
Well, it's the writers and the actors
Well,
now.
yeah, it was just the writers. The writers have been striking for a while. And now the actors just recently joined.
Right. So what I think as far as the writers, like I actually was like at a barbecue and there was like some writers there like that were on strike. I think that they overplayed their hand and that they don't have as much leverage as they thought. Um, so they're probably and what okay, so what the writers part of their argument is like they want to get more money. They want to get they used to get royalties off of TV, right? So like
Yeah.
Seinfeld, reruns, they would get a little bit of a cut, and that's like, Seinfeld reruns are every day. But with the streaming, they front load it, they give them some money, but they get nothing on the back end. and they don't even know. Like you could have a show on Netflix, could be like millions and millions of people watched it, but it wouldn't matter to you, to your pocketbook, as a writer. However, they also said that they want the studios to ban AI from creating any scripts or being involved in the creating of any movie. And the studios are like, "Fuck you, we don't even really know like what AI is going to do for us, so we're not going to agree to that." And also, probably half those writers are using AI to like, punch up their scripts already. So it's like,
You think?
what the fuck? Yeah, of course. Like you're dumb if you're not. Like at least looking into it, Like my business guru Prof G, like he's writing a book. He says like he uses ChatGPT like for, like references and like graphs and just, he's not like using it to write his book, but he's using it for information to write his book. And so you could use Chat GPT or whatever AI, there's a lot out there right now. There's one specifically for script writing. So, but like AI by itself could not write a fucking movie script right now, period, done. But it could help somebody. So, but they're saying ban all of that. You can't even use it as like a tool in your writing, and the studios just have no reason to like back down. Plus, they were overspending on streaming, so this 3 months that the writers been on strike, it's been nice for them to not pay them. Now the actors are on strike. This hasn't happened in like some
Since '61.
right where both the actors and the writers were on strike at the same time.
Yeah,
So
and after that they got like health and they got benefits and got a bunch of stuff. Since it's been a long time since they've both been on strike at the same time. I know they're uniting, which is great, and they're unified. But I mean, they've been battling it out and on strike for a while, and they're just now joining. I don't know. It's like with actors, I always feel like optics are way more important. The writers are fighting for something, but it's also they're fighting for other people. The actor. That's what the actors are saying. They're fighting for the people that work with them. It's just if like
yeah, but I
the
mean,
Rock's
yes,
out there
like
striking, I'm like, bro, you make like $50 million a movie. Rock's
yes,
out there
like
striking, I'm like, bro, you make like $50 million a movie. Like,
well, you just have to because you're part of the union, and
no, I know, I
the
know.
two unions had different timelines to get shit done. So it's like they didn't like coordinate it. It's just,
No, no,
but
and I mean, I
yeah,
definitely
like
agree, but
fucking Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie got up in the middle of the premiere of Barbie
and
because
walked
that's right
out.
when yeah, that's just what you do, man. You can't cross the picket line.
Yeah, have you seen those videos of people crossing the picket line?
No.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, because my sister was talking to me about it because I saw them when I was out there. I saw them like protesting and picketing the writers every day, and they were out there, and it was actually kind of warm. But she was like, "Yeah, there's some people that cross the picket lines try
Yeah.
to take people's
I thought about
jobs."
doing that. I thought about doing that back in like I think it was like 08 or 09. Because I wasn't a screen actor. So I was like, what do I have to fucking lose? And I was like out in LA a lot back then, but whatever. But like think about this. The Hollywood generates about $30 billion a year. Video games, $300 billion a year.
Oh yeah, man! If you could get a gig doing voice acting for video games, you can make some serious cash.
Right. And that's where all the moves are being made. Like Microsoft is, involved with Activision. I think my and then Warren Buffett's moving in, like investing. And so they're gonna go vertical, like where you can only play Call of Duty on a Microsoft, like on an
No,
Xbox.
no, there
Or
was no. They actually reached a deal where they're going to keep it on PlayStation as well. PlayStation and
and
Microsoft
Sony and
reached Sony and Microsoft reached an agreement to allow that game to be on both platforms. That happened today.
yeah. So I
That's
mean, these
huge.
companies thought like having like these like systems like and software was where the money's at, but really what the money's at is the content, that they're putting on there. So if they can own like the IP of video games moving forward and then just have them exclusive on, whether it's Microsoft or if it's Sony or if it's
Well, and that's where
whatever.
Sony's always won that battle is in the exclusives. So you look at like The Last of Us. The Last of Us was a Sony only game, only a PlayStation PC game, and then now it's like a huge HBO TV show that's getting renewed for something else. Like that's a Sony video game, like The Witcher. There's just a huge Netflix show now. There's all these like, yeah, snatching up those IPs and being able to own the content to those shows. You're gonna have hundreds of millions of followers and watchers or whatever tune into that because they love the game so much. You know.
Yeah, and there's Sony Records, and then Sony makes movies, so you can. It's like you have a pipeline of shit like from video game to movie to sound to music, like, and that's where these guys are going, so that they don't have to like rely on other people creating the shit for them.
The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their homes. A studio
Which is
executive,
happening for a lot of writers.
yeah, which studio executive told Deadline, acknowledging the cold as ice approach. Several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it cruel but a necessary evil. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna wait it out.
For sure.
Like they don't have to. They don't have to do shit. They have so much content out there already.
Right, at least in the short term, like, but we'll see how long that these unions can last. Uh, but yeah, I think it's like right now it's like a fucking stalemate. Nothing. I don't think anything before like fall, winter is gonna happen.
You don't think?
No.
Just summer off.
I mean, if you think about it, like the movies right now, it's like it's kind of making a comeback. Like, yeah, Indiana Jones, Oppenheimer, Barbie out. Like, those are big time. Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but I mean that's
I don't remember when we've had this many like movies that people would actually go to the theater to see at one time.
well.
In
I
the
think
past like 3 years,
I think they pumped them all out though. They're like, get them out, get them out, get them out.
maybe.
Because like, what else do they have coming up? A lot of
I
stuff.
don't know,
Like they
but
were shooting Deadpool 3 and they stopped shooting on that. So there's a
well,
lot.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's stuff like that where they're like, fuck,
yeah, for sure.
where that's gonna be huge for them.
I agree. Yeah, because like even if they settled it right now, like or in a month, that's setting back like so many things that are already that were already in production. So it's gonna, yeah, it's already affected the schedules. But that being said, I think the studios still have some time to wait this out and try to figure out, a way forward. I think the writers aren't going to get what they want, and I haven't. The actors thing just happened. I haven't really like got into like what they're asking for.
Yeah, I don't know about the no AI. I mean, I think that's going to be really difficult to pull off and confirm. And like, while I get the fear, I think that's what it is like what it can be, and trying to get out in front of it. I think that that's something that like to get some sort of amicable agreement, it'd have to be something where you revisit it. You revisit the use of it or something every like 5 years, and then you guys have like or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get like it out there right now. So like if it does get crazy, at least it's it's an issue that's been brought up, so it's on the radar.
But if it becomes like a hard line, like if you guys are
Yeah,
never allowed to use it, that's weird. Like giving ultimatums like that in a negotiation is weird.
right. I mean, I get it at first, but you got to be able to like move down from that because, again, nobody knows what it's gonna do. Like like ask it to give you like 30 questions and it's fucking stupid. Like
It's
now,
like when I got hit by that old lady in that car, and I was in mediation with my lawyers and then her lawyers, and they're trying to figure out what they're gonna have to pay me, the insurance company, because it was like her fault, right? And they come in and you say something really high to start. You pick like a wild ass number. So like, okay, well, how much do you want? And you say something, you're like 80 grand. They're like, okay, and they write it on a piece of paper and they walk out of the room, right? And they go talk to them in the other room, and they'll come back. It's back and forth, back and forth. But you don't say like 2 grand. Like you don't start low.
right,
So
right,
so like, but if I just sit there and say like, no, it's 80K, then they'll be like, all right, then we'll see you in court. Like they're gonna take you to court. They're gonna not have to pay you that much. It's gonna drag on for forever. So if that's your approach to that negotiation, if that's what the stance they have, that's not gonna work out well for them long term, because they just won't budge. They'll
right.
just be like, we'll wait you out, and there'll be other people who won't give a shit. We'll find other people to do it. Whatever we have to do, they'll figure something out. Or they'll just start making only AI shit to begin with and be like, fine, don't sign the deal. We're only doing AI.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I was in a negotiation like that, but it was I am the one who I bumped this guy on his motorcycle who was in front of me at a stoplight. His fault, but his ankle came out of his skin, and we were up in like the 60th floor in like LA, like in this conference room, and like we're doing the deposition, and I have like my lawyers, and I'm like just like into the whole thing, so like I'm not giving his lawyers shit, and like I'm like strategizing with my lawyer, and my lawyer was very proud of me from the insurance company when we were done, but the guy got $350,000. So when you were saying 80,000 as like a crazy like thing to come in with, nah, this guy like was asking for like a mil and he got 350.
We got
Like I didn't cost me anything, but
got his ankle snapped.
I know it was insane. Like it was his fault. He started going, and then I looked to see if there was cars coming to my left, and then he just stopped in the middle of his turn, and my car like was like staring, and just slowly moved into him, and my window was down. He was like, ah, and then I stop my car, I get out, and I see he's still laying on the ground. I'm like, get up, you pussy! Like, come on, man. And then I see his leg. I'm like, oh shit.
Was it sticking out of the pants?
Yeah, it was like his ankle. So, or yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I saw the fucking bone.
Oh,
And
brutal.
I couldn't believe it because I thought I barely even touched him.
Was he pissed at you?
He was like, ah, no, I don't know. Like, but then like the fire department and the ambulance came and stuff, and I waited, and the chief firefighter was having his daughter on a ride along, and I was like looking at her, I'm like, how do I know her? And then I found out that I went to elementary school with her, and her brother was like in my grade. It was really weird. And I was at work, and I just after that they took him to the hospital, and I just went back to work, didn't say anything.
That's wild.
I know.
No, I mean, I guess I say it. I like what the actors are fighting for. It's just, I think it's goofy that the actors are joining the writers later. Whatever. Because some of them, it's like, all right, now they're leaving, but they did like they finished Barbie. It's up. Those checks cleared. They're living their best lives. They're like, yeah,
But that's not the majority of the
that's
people,
not a
though.
majority. No, I know. I'm just it's the same issue they have whenever the NFL or the MLB or the NHL or any of these other places go. It's like the replacements. Like they go on strike. If they want, they will go out and find somebody else who will play for a fraction of what you get, just to have the
I don't think
opportunity.
that's gonna happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm just saying, and that's the
The last time that they
miscommunication.
did this, it's we had a reality TV boom, so we might have a second reality TV boom.
Well, what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying is, whenever you have people who have disproportionate ends, like meals coming off of a plate, right? And it's like, okay, well now we need to make sure that everybody's getting something more fair. There's people who be like, yeah, well, whatever. Like I was fine with it. I'm not like that's what I'm saying is some of them were like they're not all on the same page. So being unified is difficult. That's why the MLB, whenever they're like, oh, we're going on strike and we're not going to play baseball, there's guys who are like, I have to play because I don't make shit. And I make
I know.
really good money. My shit pay is great. I didn't ask for you guys to do this. I don't care. And then that's whenever it can get like on shaky ground and then whenever they like back down or not saying they will, but that's sometimes when that happens. It's because they're not all on the same page. And there might be, 40% of the people that are saying they're speaking for the other 60 and the other 60 aren't even into it. Not saying that's the case here, but that does happen a lot.
Right, right. I agree. And unions, used to be like the majority of people worked in a union in this country, and now it's like 15% or some bullshit like that, and they're like barely effective. Like we'll see, like Amazon's like talk down some unions, Starbucks, try to, but they're starting to unionize. So unions, in 2023, uh, not really reliable, but we'll see. Studios have endless money, but at the same time, like they just got to get a deal done. But I don't think that there's any time pressure on the studios yet, and I think the time pressure is on the screenwriters, and will soon become on the actors. So
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
find out.
I think it's the clock starts instantly for the writers and all those people. Like the moment they decide to go on strike, the clock's
Right.
ticking. It's just
and
like,
they don't have as much money. Like, people don't want to hear what like I'm saying.
but well, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I realized you didn't hit.
Hopefully, I'm wrong.
You know what I realized you didn't hit record.
Meditate. Did you ever fix the video on that other one?
Yeah, I fixed all of them.
Let me check. Send me the link. Why don't you send me the link then? Because when I
They're categorized. You can just go click it. It's like shortened down.
Actually, go to school with them. Leave your grades. You what?
Well, I mean, that's it. 90,
okay, now it is. Yeah, all right.
96 in the bags.
Sorry, y'all.
Captain
On the audio.
You got any deep words of wisdom for us?
Record early and often.
Record early, often, and meditate.
Meditate. Stay positive. Positive self-talk.
Yes, yes.
Be your own best friend.
Be positive. Give everybody the opportunity to become the best version of themselves. And just, take care of
Give
each
yourself the opportunity.
other. Well, you should be always seeking that out, but you have to have patience with others while they seek theirs out as well.
Yep. Compassion, kindness.
Patience.
Namaste.
Y'all be good. Stay out of trouble. Go fuck yourselves. Peace out.